Welcome to Pandora Astrology's monthly horoscope for December of 2022. We are the astrologers of Pandora Astrology. I'm Jamie Kell Miller. I'm in Berkeley, California.
I'm Julia Mijas in Pioneer, California.
Aquarius, if this is your sun sign, then your annual mop-up period is about to begin. That's the 30 days before your birthday. Getting a birthday reading now positions you powerfully for your personal new year. You'll find a link to help you do that in the text that comes with this video. Well, a couple little things I want to throw in here to begin with. Juno is in Pisces, traveling along through Pisces. It's done. She is done with her retrograde period and finishes her span of degrees in which she was retrograde. So final resolution to any relationship tangles that you may have been involved in since July is definitely coming. And the house that Juno is traveling through is your second house. And so she's asking you to bring collaboration to the house of money and food and survival. And so you might spend a little time thinking about how does my money figure into my relationship, and how should I be managing my money as a member of this partnership, but remembering that it is your money I'm talking about, the separate money. Ceres is traveling along through Virgo at the beginning of the month, right here in your 8th house, where she's been for a while. And so I have talked about this before. I'm not going to belabor it right now, but she's finishing out your 8th house and going to move into your 9th house on December 18th. And she'll be entering Libra at that time as well. Ceres is the grain goddess. She's about food, body, and money. She rules the second house, which I mentioned a moment ago. And she's all about using good stewardship, being organized, approaching things in a practical way, like a gardener, you know, noticing what needs to be grown, what needs to be cultivated. And so she enters into your 9th house, which is actually terrific because Ceres loves to be in the 9th house. She'll be there for about 2 months. And the 9th house is a house that has everything to do with expansion and growth. And Ceres being a planet of money and finances, and also your sense of value, like worthiness, you know, self-worth. And when this planet enters into your 9th house, all of those things can expand and grow. So this is a really great 2-month period to re-examine your beliefs about money and your worth, and to expand them. So to expand what you think that you deserve so that you can receive more. Then the last thing I want to tell you about is that Jupiter starts out the month direct in the sign of Pisces, and then travels into Aries and enters into your 3rd house right here around December 20th. And Jupiter is speeding up and getting ready to finish out his span for the year. And so Jupiter has a lot of energy once he moves back into Aries, and in your 3rd house might even speed up your speech. This is a house of language and articulation and ideas and communication. Jupiter entering into this 3rd house is going to bring not only more conversations and possibly faster conversations, but some lucky conversations. And this is a really great time for learning. So this month, if there's anything that you need to study or learn, that is absolutely benefited by Jupiter passing through your 3rd house. Hey, Julia, I know you have some news about Mars, Venus, and Mercury. What's that good stuff?
Yes, I do. Well, hey there, Aquarius. Well, Mars is still retrograde. This has been happening for a little while now, and this entire cycle has been taking place in your fifth house. This is the house that rules your children, if you have any, your creativity, anything that you do that's creative, as well as fun and games. You know, any games you play, whether they're video games or gambling or sports, for example. Now, Mars is a planet of action, and when Mars is retrograde, it can be a particularly frustrating cycle. So having this all happen in your fifth house might mean that if you've got kids, you guys are having a lot more arguments than usual because this is Gemini, the sign of communication. You could have to kind of go back over your creative projects, you know, maybe some frustration with anything you're doing creative, as well as any games you play, sports. Woof, this could be a really intense cycle, especially if you're on any sports teams. And then on December 7th, Mars is exactly opposed to the sun. We call that maximum frustration day. So, you know, keep track of that date because you might notice that these issues really come to the fore around then. Now, on a lighter note, Venus, the planet of art, beauty, and relationships, starts the month in your 11th house. This is a house of friends. So when Venus comes into this house, it's a really great social period in people's lives. If you're a member of any groups, whether they're unions, societies, clubs, organizations, this could be a nice time with them, you know, where maybe the group is benefiting you and you're benefiting them in some way. Now, on December 9th, Venus enters your 12th house. This is a very isolated house in the entire zodiac. So when Venus comes in here, you're probably going to withdraw more socially after the 9th. You might enjoy just if you're in a relationship, spending time with your partner one-on-one, either at home or in an isolated place like, you know, a camping trip or a little log cabin. This is December after all, a little log cabin Airbnb in the middle of nowhere. And Venus in the 12th house can be a wonderful time for if you have, you know, a generous or charitable side to you, especially around the holiday seasons, because Venus does rule money, where you might want to be giving money anonymously to causes that really, you know, give you a good sense of, you know, contribution. And then finally, Mercury, the planet that rules communication, he also starts the month in the 11th house. And this is the house that rules, again, your social groups, your friends. So it's going to be, you know, the beginning of the month, it's going to be a time of a lot of socializing. And then kind of after the 9th, you might want to withdraw a little bit more. Now, on December 29th, Mercury is going to start a retrograde cycle at the very end of the month. But it's very possible you could be feeling this a week before then, because that's when Mercury starts slowing down before he goes retrograde. And Mercury retrograde times can be times of miscommunications, especially during the holidays, travel delays. You know, make sure to get to the airport early if you find yourself traveling, as well as in the sign of Capricorn, a career-oriented sign, these miscommunications can certainly show up in the workplace as well.
Yes, that is all too true. So, looking at the moons this month, we have a full moon in Gemini happening December 7th. And you can see it right here. There's the moon with Mars in your fifth house of children, which Julia mentioned when she spoke of this Mars retrograde in your fifth house. And opposite the sun in the 11th. And this is a really argumentative moon. We're calling it impulsive opinions meet pushback. It has stress involving Mars opposing Sun and then squaring Juno. And there is some lovely help from Chiron and Saturn. But in the main, this is an argumentative, maybe kind of intellectually superior mood that's going on during this moon and for the couple of days surrounding it. Because this is covering your fifth house and your 11th house, you might find these arguments are coming up with your children, even if they are grown and out of the house. They might be coming up relative to matters that you have ego investment in, where you feel like you should be looking good. And so you have a point to prove, maybe an axe to grind. And it might also impact your friendships as well, with the sun over here opposite this moon in the 11th house. So watch out for all those things and check out our video and our December news playlist on our YouTube channel, Pandora Astrology, to find out more about this moon and the wonderful help that you can get from Chiron and Saturn during it. The next thing that happens is that we have the seasonal change, and that comes on December 21st when the sun finishes out Sagittarius and moves into Capricorn. And so as the sun does that, it moves into the 12th house. And what I like to say about the sun is that the sun is like, the sun sheds sunlight, which helps things to thrive and grow. And similarly, the metaphor for that in human life is attention. Attention is like sunlight. And wherever you place your attention, things can grow, things can flourish. But this sun is moving into the 12th house, which is one of the water houses of the chart. It's a more hidden and inward looking terrain. And so as the sun moves into the 12th house, and you can see that already Venus and Mercury are there and Pluto as well, that there might be, you know, a time of introversion here for you. And that's actually very, very normal for the last month before your birthday. So this is really the beginning of your annual mop-up period when you're feeling that it's time to let go, maybe fish or cut bait relative to your plans for the year that is closing out, while at the same time, the themes of the new year that's incoming for you are you know, beginning to surge up. And that's especially true if you are a sun sign Aquarius, but it also has that same feel if you happen to be an Aquarius rising, and that's why you're watching this horoscope. So spending the month, you know, in introversion, in meditation, in retreat is a really good idea. If you're not feeling social, that's okay. Don't be social. So then we have a new moon in Capricorn right here. And the moon and the sun together here in the 12th house. Let me move this forward by some hours. There it is. And this falls in your 12th house. So you're really going to be feeling the introversion pretty hard right here. Not in a bad way necessarily. And here we are heading into the holiday season, the winter holiday. This particular moon we're calling transactional family relationships because it's the rather crusty moon in Capricorn. And there is conflict between the two mother figures that we see in the chart. There's Ceres, which is the physical mother, square to Moon, which is the emotional mother. And then we have Jupiter also getting involved in this. So the holidays could be festive. Jupiter is definitely bringing that, but there could be some family tensions, some stressors, and also maybe some overcompensating with buying gifts perhaps, or eating too much food. And if you're not feeling like you really want to be a part of the festivities because you're feeling that introversion and that, you know, desire to retreat, then I'd say choose your events, you know, and the timing of when you show up and when you leave really well, and spend the time in introversion that you need to make sure that you can bring your best self to the gatherings. And that's what we have for you today. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please do be sure to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can find out more about this month's moons and the Mars retrograde on our website, pandoraastrology.com, in the forecast tab. And on our website, you can book a reading with us or take a class. And until next time, we'll see you around the cosmos. Bye.
Bye-bye.